Hello everyone, welcome to another video in the Gait Locomotion plugin series. Before we went over how to get the plugin on Patreon and how to set it up with the example project and how to add an idle and a cycle state and then how to add a basic 3-part jump. So now today we're going to go over adding skeletal controls or IK. Off the start, I've went ahead and downloaded the Dragon IK example project. I highly recommend Dragon IK for your IK. You do not have to use it. This video is still going to go over the skeletal controls, but largely what I'm going to go over right off the bat is this Dragon IK setup because people will want to know about it. And this is my #1 recommended plugin. It's better than anything the engine offers. CodeHawk is an exemplary developer. I highly recommend getting it, especially because it goes on sale quite often, which is great. So yeah, I've downloaded it off of the marketplace link and then just unzipped it. And then once you unzip it, you can open it and build it in whatever engine you want. I've chosen 5.3. That opens to here. Then I recommend you select this little filter thingy, choose animation, go to animation blueprint, and then you can select all the animation blueprints that are examples. Tons of different examples in here that shows off lots of really great stuff in it, like the aim solver and stuff like that, which we'll go over in another video, actually the following video that I'm doing after this one. But for this one, I'm just going to look for, I believe, actually the easiest way to tell, this is the third-person humanoid character we start with. It's using the third-person animation blueprint. Oh, of course didn't find it. Content browser. There we go. And here, right off the bat, is our foot solver and our spine solver that we're looking for. So I'm going to ignore the aim solver for now. I'm just going to bypass that. And I'm going to grab this, and this, 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 this. That. Oh, not that. These are what I'm going to take after and use in my own project, and it's just because all the settings are already set up, and you pretty much, if you're switching to UE5, you just have to switch Spine 03 to Spine 05, and otherwise everything's going to remain the same. So it's a really quick way of just being lazy and getting the settings, which will be sweet. So that's all I'm going to do for now is go in here, look for those, and minimize the tab into the proper screen, and then go over to our Gait Locomotion System. So again, before we've gone through this setup of the tutorial series here, we have these different layers right off the get-go. Open our layer interface as before. Just gotta add a new layer called Skeletal Controls. Okay. And this is going to have an input. It's not going to have anything in it, but it's going to have an input. Then we're going to go to our base instance, go to the anim graph, and skeletal controls or IK stuff always goes at the end. Because otherwise, when you do like a montage, you'll do like an attack montage up the stairs, and your legs will stay completely straight because the IK doesn't take effect, so your character won't like walk up the stairs properly, and it'll look super goofy. So you add your skeletal controls, and because we added an input pose, it now has an input pose, unlike the other ones which do not. So that gives us that. Now we have our skeletal control layer. Now it's not doing anything right now because we have to set up the layer instance where we go to our skeletal controls, and now we have an input pose. We never had this on our other ones as well. Now luckily we don't have to do any like sequences or anything like that with this because skeletal controls are just this stuff. But what I am going to do, copy that over, paste that. I'm going to make a cache pose. We're going to call this in pose. And the reason why you want to do this, because this is set up ugly, is because you actually want to use your input pose in 2 places, and you can't hook up an execution pin to 2 places. So you want to cache the in-pose, grab the in-pose. I'm just going to copy and paste that now. And then hook up your result. Okay, so remember I said before as well, the input data right here. I'm hoping to eventually convert all this over into a data asset because it would make it a lot easier to change this per character. And I've been talking about that with CodeHawk so that we can you could basically just have a data asset and you would have all of these settings inside of a data asset, which I'll go over in one of my next videos. If actually I have another video on that specific thing. But basically what you can do is just set it up so you have all of this data in a sheet, and you can promote those different data sheets basically to these values. And it would just make it so, yeah, every single character could have different IK settings, and you wouldn't have to ever have different animation blueprints or different nodes or anything like that. It would all be consolidated. But we want to change this spline 03 to spline 05 on both of them. And then just double check that all of your bones are named the same. You can see foot bone, knee bone, thigh bone. Foot, knee, thigh. One common problem that people have is the foot height offset. This is the height, basically, that it'll fix itself above the ground. And quite often I've noticed this on the UE5 mannequin is more like 1 instead of 3. So the character's foot might sit a little bit higher than the ground with the default settings. So it's, again, something you kind of want to play around with. But it should work right now, right away. And then we can look and see. So now if I walk up here, I have IK. And you can see that gap I'm talking about right away. If I had my camera lowered a little bit more, it would be better. But we'll go to 1 there. And although I just set that to 1, I only set it to 1 on one of my feet. So you want to do it on both of your feet. And it's called the feet height offset. And then if I compile that again, make my screen a little bigger here. Now if I walk over and do that again, now my feet should be closer. Some goofy settings with the default ones. If you put them at weird angles, sometimes you can get funky feet. Yeah, it's still a little high. So I'm positive that's the value though. Oh, if fixed foot height is disabled. So I don't know if that value is set. Anyway, that's all I wanted to show is how to set this up like this. So if there's any tweaks to be done, figure them out yourself. But that shows you how to set up a simple IK layer, no problem. Skeletal controls. And like I said, you can use control rig, you can use whatever. I'm pretty sure if you're using control rig though, you'll still want it to exist before the skeletal controls. And then control rig would have more specific IK nodes like, let's say, like the 2-bone IK or CCD IK or something like that. In case you're doing specific IK tasks like reaching for an object, like if you're reaching for a coffee cup and you want to hit that, that's an effector location, and you can do all of that kind of stuff through this. So, yeah. All right, I hope that brings some insight to the plugin and that it helps some people. I'll see you in the next video. Like and subscribe, and the next video is going to be on the aim solver node from Dragon IK, and that uses a replicated thread-safe aim solver variable from the anim component. So, all right.